y minus 4z equals 2z. We get these three equations. Now simplifying it a little bit, from the first equation what will we get? 3x minus 6y minus 6z equals 0. That means x minus 2y minus 2z equals 0. This one. Check from the second equation. What will we get? It will become minus x plus 2y plus 2z equals 0. That means ultimately this one, x minus 2y minus 2z equals 0. So no need to calculate this one again. And from the third equation what will we get? 3x minus 6y then minus 6z equals 0. That is ultimately this one. So it will becomes this. So from these three equations are eventually same, and it gets the result x minus 2y minus 2z equals to 0. So from here we can write x equals 2y plus 2z. So what will be our capital X? It will be x, y, z. That is, instead of x we can write 2y plus 2z, and y and z will be same. So it will become y into 210 plus z into 201. Right? Now considering, let W1 be the subspace, that is W1 be the subspace corresponding to C1 equals 2. Then these two vectors, they are clearly linearly independent, and this is spanning the set W1. That means for W1 we can say these two vectors will form a basis. So for W1, these vectors 210 and 201, this will form a basis. And then what will be the dimension of W1? The number of elements in basis, which is equal to 2, and which is equal to our D1 also. Next, similarly, we need to check what is the dimension of W2. What is W2? W2 means the subspace corresponding to the characteristic value C2, which is equal to 1. So, let W2 be the subspace corresponding to the characteristic value C2, which is equals to 1. Then try to find out its characteristic vectors. Let AX equals C2X. A is 5 minus 1 3, minus 6 4 minus 6, then minus 6 2 minus 4. So from here, after equating, what will we get? We will get 5x minus 6y minus 6z equals x, minus x plus 4y plus 2z equals y, 3x minus 6y minus 4z equals z. So from the first equation, what will we get? We will get, after simplifying, we will get 2x minus 3y minus 3z equals 0. Then from the second equation we will get minus x plus 3y plus 2z equals 0. And from the third equation 3x minus 6y minus 5z equals 0. So we get total 3 equations in 3 unknowns. We need to solve it to get the value of x, y and z. Now check from first two equations. If we add them, then this 3y part will be cancelled out. So from there, after adding, what will we get? We will get x minus z equals 0. That is, x equals z. Now putting it in that equation. So it will become 3x minus 6y minus 5z. So it will become minus 2x minus 6y equals 0. So from here, x equals minus 3y. and z equals also x, which is equals also minus 3y. So the vector x will become minus 3y, y minus 3y. So y into minus 3, 1 minus 3, right? This is the required vector. Now check if W2 is the subspace corresponding to the eigenvalue or the characteristic value C2 equals 1, then this vector is a single vector which is clearly linearly independent and it is spanning the set W2. So for that, from that we can write that this singleton vector will form a basis for W2. So in the next line we are writing this minus 3, 1 minus 3, this singleton set is a basis for W2. Then what is the dimension of W2? Number of elements in basis, which is 1. So W2, dimension of W2 is equals to 1, which is equals to our D2 also. So the second condition of the previous theorem is satisfied, that is the characteristic polynomial can be written as x minus c1 whole to the power d1 into x minus c2 whole to the power d2, and the dimension of wi is equals to di. So from this, by using this theorem, we can say that T is diagonalizable, right? And check the third equation is also satisfied, because what was the third condition of the previous theorem? Third condition was dimension of W1 plus dimension of W2 plus wk. We don't have all this for k equal to 3, 2 and all. We have only W1 and W2. This should be equals to dimension of V. Now dimension of W1 is equals 2 and dimension of W2 is equals 1 and dimension of V means R cube. And what is the dimension of R cube? It is 3. So 2 minus 1 equals 3. That is the third condition of the previous theorem is also satisfied. So from here we can say T is diagonalizable. Now for if it is diagonalizable, that means there exists a basis script B of the given vector space V, which is R cube here, such that each vector of this basis should be a characteristic vector for T. That means we need to find out that basis script B. What will be the basis? We have the property that for this basis each vector will be a characteristic vector. Then what will be that basis? What can be that basis? Basis of R cube. That means it has total 3 elements and we get 3 characteristic vector for the linear operator T. First one was 2, 1, 0. Then the second one is 2, 0, 1. This is corresponding to C1 equals 2. And we get another one for C2 equals 1, which is minus 3, 1 minus 3. So these 3 vectors will form a basis script B. So the basis script B of V, which is equals to actually R cube, is this one, the first vector, which is 2, 1, 0, second vector is 2, 0, 1, and the third vector is minus 3, 1, minus 3. This one, this will form a basis such that each vector is a characteristic vector of T, or A, which is given in the question, because T and A are associated. So these are the characteristic vectors of T. So this is how we get the required basis which we need, because T is a diagonalizable operator. And whenever T is diagonalizable, that means the corresponding matrix A, which is given in the question, this is also diagonalizable. That means A should be similar to a diagonal matrix D. Then what will be that diagonal matrix? The diagonal matrix D will be just the diagonal element. Diagonal matrix means only the non-zero elements are the diagonal matrix. These will be the characteristics values, which is 1, 2, 2. All the remaining positions are 0. So DA is similar to this diagonal matrix D, having the diagonal element as the characteristic values of A. That is, for there exists some P such that P inverse AP will be equals to D, right? And what will be that P? That P will be just, you need to take the characteristic vectors as the column element. So what was our characteristic vectors? That was 3, -1, 3. This is 1, and another 2 were 2, 1, 0, 2, 0, 1. Then for that P and for that D, it will satisfy this relation. P inverse AP equals D. So how to get that P or how to get that script B basis? Just take the characteristic vectors as the column vector. You will get that non-singular matrix P such that P inverse AP will be equal to D, and that D is our required diagonal matrix. So this is how we find out a linear operator is diagonalizable or not. Now moving to the next example. Write down the next example. Let T be a linear operator. Let T be a linear operator on R square, and its associated matrix with respect to the standard basis, is this 2, 0, 1, 3. Check T is diagonalizable or not. Check T is diagonalizable or not. Let's check it just by applying the previous method. At first we need to get the characteristic polynomial of the matrix. Here also the operator isn't given, its associated matrix is given. So this is our A. At first consider its characteristic polynomial. As it is a 2 by 2 matrix, it will be easy calculation. So 2 minus x, 0, 1, 3 minus x. This determinant is equals to 0. So from there 2 minus x into 3 minus x equals 0. So we get x minus 2 into x minus 3 equals 0. That is, x becomes 2, 3. So the characteristic polynomial can be written as x minus 2 to the power 1 into x minus 3 to the power 1. So it is of the form x minus c1 whole to the power d1 into x minus c2 whole to the power d2. Right? Now we need to find out that dimension of w1 should be d1 and dimension of w2 should be d2. Then the second condition of the previous theorem will be satisfied, and then we can claim that T is diagonalizable. So let's check that what is the dimension of the corresponding characteristic space of the characteristic value 2. So for C1 equals 2, what we are considering, AX equals 2x. To find the characteristic subspace corresponding to the characteristic value C1 equals 2. So apply it. 2, 0, 1, 3, then xy, 2xy. It will give 2x equals 2x, then x plus 3y equals 2y. That is, x plus y equals 0. Right? We don't know the value of x. We have only the relation x plus y equals 0. Because 2x equals 2x, there is nothing to say about x. So x will become x, and instead of y we are writing minus x. So it becomes x into 1 comma minus 1. This vector. So if W1 is the characteristic space corresponding to the characteristic value C1 equals 2, then this singleton element is formed a basis for W1, because clearly this is linearly independent and this is generating the space W1. So from here we can say that this vector 1 comma minus 1, this is a basis of W1. So what will be the dimension of W1? It will be equals to 1, because the basis contains only one element, which is equals to D1. Next, check for D2, that is dimension of W2 becomes D2 or not. So for the next characteristic value, which is equals to 3. Let's check for it. For C2 equal to 3, we are considering AX equals 3x. So 2013 xy equals 3xy. That is 2x equals 3x. Then x plus 3y equals 3y. So from here x equals 0, and from here also x equals 0. So it will be 0 comma, we don't know the value of y, that is y into 0 1. So similarly, if W2 be the characteristic space of the characteristic value C2, which is equal to 3, then this vector 0 comma 1, this form a basis of W2. Then the dimension of W2, which is equal to 1, which is equal to D2. So the second condition is satisfied. That means from here we can say T is diagonalizable. Okay, and check for the third third condition. This is satisfying or not. Dimension of W1 plus dimension of W2 equals to dimension of V. This is 1. This is 1, and dimension of V. V means R square. T is defined on R square. So its dimension will be 2. So this is equals to. So that means the third condition is also satisfying. Now we need to find the basis, script B. How will we do that? The rule for finding script B is each of the vectors should be a characteristic vector of T. Now script B is a basis of R square. That means it should contain 2 elements, as the dimension of R square is 2. And we already got 2 characteristic vector for T. First one is, which one? First one is minus 1 comma minus 1. And the second one is 0 comma 1. Then we can take script B equals this one, 1 minus 1 or minus 1 1. Just let me check it. Whatever. It will be the same, just you need to take the constant value. Then this comma 0 comma 1, this will form a basis of V, which is equals to R square, such that each vector of script B is characteristic vector of T, right? And similarly, we also need to get the value of D. That means A is similar to D. Then what will be that D? Diagonal matrix. How to get that D? Just put the characteristic value along the diagonal. What are the characteristic value? These are 2 comma 3. So these are 2 3 0 0. This is the required diagonalized matrix, which is similar with A, our given matrix. So this is the procedure of getting a linear operator, of checking a linear operator is diagonalizable or not. Now I am giving you another example, which will be your homework. You need to solve it. Write down T is a linear operator on RQ. Just a minute. T is a linear operator on R cube and its associated matrix is given by 1 1 1 1 1 1 and 1 1 1. This one, all the elements are 1. Check T is diagonalizable or not. If so, get script B. If it is diagonal, if it is not diagonal, then there is nothing to do, and if so, if it is diagonal, then you need to find out the basis of script B. Okay, another example. So this one will be your homework, and I am giving you another example. Write down the same thing. T is a linear operator on R cube and the associated matrix is just different. The matrix is 3 1 1 4 3 1 0 0 1. Check the same thing, that is, it is diagonal or not. So basically for these two matrices you need to check that their corresponding linear operators are diagonal or not. If no, then it's okay. If it is, then you need to find out the basis script B. Now there is another theorem which states the diagonalization of a matrix. So at first I am stating the theorem, then we will prove it, and we will check one application of this theorem. So the theorem states that a square matrix A is similar to a diagonal matrix if and only if for each eigenvalue or characteristic value, if and only for each eigenvalue lambda of A, the multiplicity of lambda is equal to the rank of the characteristic subspace corresponding to lambda. So the theorem, first we need to know what does it states, that theorem. It is stating that a square matrix A is similar to a diagonal matrix if and only if for each eigenvalue lambda of A, the multiplicity of lambda is equal to the rank of the characteristic subspace corresponding to lambda. Now a square matrix is similar to a diagonal matrix. That means it is diagonalizable. So basically the theorem is trying to say A is diagonalizable if and only if, what it's saying, the if and only if condition, it is saying that for each eigenvalue lambda of A, the multiplicity of lambda. That means, what does it mean by multiplicity? That means lambda occurs, how many times lambda occurs in the characteristic polynomial. Actually that means the algebraic multiplicity of lambda, right? So the algebraic multiplicity of lambda is equal to the rank of the characteristic subspace corresponding to lambda. That means whenever we get a characteristic value corresponding to it, we will get some characteristic vectors. It will form a characteristic subspace. Then what will be its rank? What does it call? The rank of the corresponding characteristic subspace? It's called the geometric multiplicity of the eigenvalue. That means actually the algebraic multiplicity of lambda should be equal to the geometric multiplicity of lambda. The theorem is saying is this. That is, A is diagonalizable if and only if algebraic multiplicity of lambda equals to the geometric multiplicity of lambda. Now if you check what we have discussed the previous theorem, about the previous theorem regarding the linear operator, what was the first two condition of that theorem? It was saying T is diagonalizable. That was the first condition. and the second condition was f, that is the characteristic polynomial, can be written as like this: x minus c1 whole to the power d1, x minus c2 whole to the power d2 dot dot x minus ck whole to the power dk, where the dimension of wi is equals to di. Now if you consider this part, the ci is our eigenvalue and d1 is its algebraic multiplicity, and from here its geometric multiplicity is also should be d1. Similarly, from the next next factor, for the eigenvalue c2, the algebraic multiplicity is d2 and its geometric multiplicity should also d2. That means these two theorems are basically the same thing. Just the previous theorem was talking about the linear operator and this theorem is talking about the matrix. And whenever we will get a linear operator, we can find an associated matrix. That means basically these two theorems are same thing. Now we need to prove that theorem. We will prove for the matrix. That is, if it is diagonalizable, the algebraic multiplicity of lambda should be equal to the geometric multiplicity of lambda, where lambda is the characteristic value or the eigenvalue.